Hey everyone, welcome to the PFF Betting Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Valenzuela, and with me, as always, partner in crime, PFF data scientist Ben Brown. And today it's almost like Christmas came a little early. We have a full slate of games that we are going to break down. We have our favorite props, parlays, odds boosts, long shots. So let's get into it. Football fans, I'm sure we all love an action-packed, high-scoring NFL game, but with the latest no-brainer from DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, you'll be a winner once a single point is scored. New customers who bet just $1 on any team to score can win $100 in free bets. It's just that simple. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you can still get in on the NFL action. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports Contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PFF. Bet $1 on any team to score and win $100 in free bets if they score. You score with promo code PFF this week at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, Ben, we're recording while this Saturday night game's going on. Looking great. The quarterback rushing prop lives again. But of course, right before we come on at half, Mac Jones just decides to screw up your interception prop. But that's okay.
Right. I mean, it happens. I guess, I didn't expect the Patriots to fall out behind as much as they have so far. It did look like, Jones was kind of pressing a little bit, I guess, at the end of that first half drive. So he had one that didn't actually get picked off. And then when they got near the goal line, did throw that interception to Darius Leonard. So the swings, baby. But I think the rest of them are looking pretty good here so far. Carson Wentz should probably still get under his interception prop. And we have, Carson Wentz over 9.5. Looks like it's already locked in here, holding out for some kneel down opportunities. So maybe he can put, one or two more insurance yards on the board for us. And then, I think, the Colts call that we had yesterday, as well as looking pretty good here so far. So I'm excited heading into Sunday, week 15.
We're in a good mood. It's always nice when our bets are still alive at half. So that's awesome. But let's stay then, because it's been so good to us, with the quarterback rushing prop. We cannot start this without talking about it. And the actual top value play in PFF's betting tool this week is Davis Mills to go over his 3.5 rushing yards. I don't want to start it out by saying it might be my favorite of the day, but it might be my favorite of the day, Ben.
Yeah, you never want to jump into your favorite of the day right away, but this was, our lock of the week basically last week. It obviously paid off for us with Davis Mills at quarterback. He has been, a little bit spry, I would say, from a rushing perspective here, especially recently. I don't know if his, long neck or his overall tallness is kind of helping him get some of those additional yards, but it seems like it's paying off. 3.5 rushing yards just is way too low in a number of situations. I think this is basically back to, his lowest number of the season. So given his, opportunities, the fact that he's been scrambling at least once or twice every game, the fact that, obviously they're going to be playing from behind, probably even against the Jacksonville Jaguars, 5.5 point, road dogs, the Texans are. So I like this one. I think he's going to get it. I think he's going to take care of us here 2 weeks in a row. So I don't know if it's my favorite, but I definitely think it is a top tier play here on Sunday.
You don't want to claim a favorite this early. I do like it though, because the game, the Jaguars, and we'll get into them a little bit later in the podcast, but the Jaguars are Urban Meyer-less. So I feel like that game should, even though they're two very, very bad teams, we're not saying that they're not, but it should be a competitively bad game, right? So that's why I feel like this prop with 3.5 rushing will live for a while, because if they're going to be playing from behind too, they're going to try and get everything they can to get up on those Jaguars. So I like it.
I agree with you. I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I'm excited to see. I do like some Trevor Lawrence props here, maybe a little bit later on in the show as well. But I expect this to be a little bit more higher scoring than what the bookmakers are projecting right now. Okay. So maybe it's going to be a pretty decent matchup here in Week 15. So surprise some people, I guess. We'll see.
I love it. Do you like any other? Because I know we have another quarterback prop that we will get to, and that is Kyler Murray. But do you like? I know I saw Joe Burrow at 6.5. I saw Tua Tagovailoa at 9.5. Those both had a little bit of value on them at Greenline for PFF.
Yeah, I definitely like Joe Burrow. Again, I was considering writing that one up. Didn't necessarily get the last week. I think he's 0 for 2 in the last 2 weeks, basically. But his numbers kind of back down in that 6.5 range. I think it was bumping out to 9.5 kind of when he was going over every single week. So definitely like that one. I do think Davis Mills is still probably my favorite here. Of course, we like Carson Wentz here tonight at 10.5. That one paid off. And then, Tua's probably like the next best one. I'm a little afraid that Miami probably blows out the Jets, and he doesn't really have much incentive to in the second half, but we'll see. So if I was ranking them, definitely Davis Mills 1, Joe Burrow 2, Tua's 3, I think. But those are the 3 ones I think that you got to play here Sunday afternoon.
Long live the quarterback rushing prop. Well, something that we don't usually talk about though is quarterbacks under rush attempts, and that's what you're hitting with Kyler Murray. His rushing attempts is set at 6.5, and you like his under.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, playing the Detroit Lions, the Cardinals should be, kind of hopefully trying to gel a little bit with no DeAndre Hopkins in the fold here for at least the rest of the regular season. So I do think that we're going to see Kyler Murray kind of heightened focus on that passing game, trying to get, not necessarily used to his other receivers, but at least get those guys involved and capable of making some of those plays that they were maybe relying on DeAndre Hopkins to have. So he hasn't necessarily relied on his legs anywhere close to what he was at in 2020 either. So I think given the fact that he's still kind of working his way fully back from the injury situation, we're going to see him probably take a little bit of a load off, be a little bit more of the passing attack. James Conner, Chase Edmonds, both back in the fold as well. So I think, Kyler Murray to go under 6.5 rushing attempts is a pretty safe bet here, given the fact that they should probably be up by a couple touchdowns, and there's no real need to risk their actual, best offensive player in a game where they can probably beat the Lions in any case. So
I was going to say, especially against the Lions. That would be pretty embarrassing if something happens to QB1 and you're like, oh, it's because he was trying to run. So no, I like that one too. Like I said, we don't usually talk about that one a lot. So that's going to be a fun play. And then our last quarterback one that we have, this might be one of my favorite games to watch this weekend, which is weird because it's the Jaguars. But like I said, without Urban Meyer, it could be fun. It could remind me of the Raiders when they lost their head coach. Like they're coming out with a vengeance, like we said, because you're expecting maybe more points in that game than what's being projected. But we like Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So it's his breakout. Like he's free. He's got no real head coach now, and he's able to just do what he wants. That's what I'm hearing you say. Yeah,
I mean, in a lot of ways, I am looking forward to this game, but I am a little bit of a sickle, so it was surprising to hear you say that you were like this game as well. But I wouldn't say there's probably too many other people buying into the Texans Jaguars as being an entertaining option here on Sunday. But I think it's going to happen. I do like Trevor Lawrence here quite a bit. Plus 160, plus 165 price. He hasn't gone over his passing touchdown prop since week 1. Of course, the whole narrative is going to be about Urban Meyer. The fact that he's gone now, I do think we're going to see, Lawrence unleashed a little bit, especially in the passing game. The only real concern, maybe he rushes in one of those, attempts near the goal line, doesn't necessarily throw it in. So, but no Carlos Hyde, so he's kind of been the goal line back. So I do think maybe there's an opportunity for them to maybe throw a little bit more as they get close to the goal, and I do also think he's probably going to hit at least one deep shot against this Texans defense that just has not been able to stop anybody. So I like this one quite a bit. I think we're going to see Lawrence finally start to put some traits down for why he was the number 1 overall pick here last April. So
yeah, I think we are diving into a deep hole of like sickness, because I'm saying I'm really excited to watch the Jaguars Texans. So I don't know what you're doing to me, but by the end of this season, it's just going to be
over. It's going to be
awful, going to be sad. It's going to be sad. Well, I'll stick with this game then and kind of pivot a little bit, but I do, sticking with the Jaguars, I do like James Robinson anytime too. I think it's the same thing, like literally copy and paste what you just said for this reason. He was treated weirdly with Urban Meyer. Now it's like free James Robinson. He's good to go. Anytime I found him at plus 105, which is good, but Robinson had a total of 39 yards on 15 touches during his last 2 games, which is just disgusting, Ben. That's horrible. So like you said, though, I think a lot of this too is leaning with Carlos Hyde out. He will see less competition for those touches this week. It should, if it's not a breakout game, I mean, they're still going to rely on him like they have been, and they should have been. So I really like him anytime if you want to sprinkle him in anywhere. But the plus price, I was surprised when I saw that too. So I like that one as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think that covers basically all the bases you need for, Jacksonville Jaguars scoring offensively. Like I said, I do think the game's going to go over the total right now. So maybe we can probably get both, but I do think it is a decent hedge against Trevor Lawrence passing touchdowns as well. I do expect at least one of those to happen. There are some situations where both of them could happen too. So I think it's a good play here on Sunday. And like we said earlier, the only real detriment, something that's probably going to piss us off, is if Trevor Lawrence ends up running one in. But outside of that happening, I do think we're going to get at least one of these through, if not both, here in Sunday.
I agree. So. But huge Jaguars fans.
Huge
on Sunday.
Jaguars.
Huge
Jaguars.
Always. So sad.
I've been a closet Jaguars fan for way too long.
Oh no!
Now that Urban Meyer's gone, I'm hoping I can just unleash the fandom.
I was going to say now
on people and actually make it worthwhile. But
now it's appropriate.
Right. I do hold some AFC South Jags futures tickets from the offseason at plus 1,200, and that got pounded. That got pounded down throughout the whole offseason, but it's definitely not looking good, even obviously right now. So we'll see. Maybe 2022 is the year that I can actually be right on the Jaguars finally.
I'm laughing.
So
just let it out. Just let it out. I feel bad for you. Futures. I thought you didn't like. Oh no, you don't like futures for
I don't
MVP.
I don't like
MVP
and coach of the year and those sorts of things. No,
oh
so
my
I
gosh,
bet.
What did you think that was going to happen?
Well, this was my whole synopsis. So last year, I really liked the Bengals to make the playoffs. I thought that was one of the best long shot bets. I actually wrote it up in an article on PFF.com, Joe Burrow's rookie season. They didn't quite get there, but I did write up the Bengals to win the AFC North heading into this year at plus 2,500. That obviously moved a pretty significant amount. Even in the off season, now it's down to, I think they're plus 250, plus 200 to win it. So a lot of value on that one. And I do think maybe the Jaguars could be a similar team heading into 2022. So maybe that's the preview, but we'll see. We'll see where all the odds actually end up here post Super Bowl time. But that's just something to put on the people's radar for
I was gonna say,
more off-season content, I guess.
That's a good teaser. Hey, listen to the podcast even in the off-season, because you get closet Jaguars fan Ben Brown telling you to bet them to win
lock
division.
in more division winners. So
that's awesome. Well, then I'm curious if this one, because you said we haven't gotten to your lock yet, or the one you like the most. So is it T. Higgins over 5.5 receptions?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
I do think
I
do like this
it.
one. I do like this one quite a bit. I do like the Bengals, on Sunday against your Denver Broncos. I also like the over quite a bit in this matchup. I think we talked about that with Eric. Early on in the week, I do know that is the PFF forecast lock of the week as well. So I do think it's going to be kind of because T. Higgins, right? He has been not necessarily the one that people expect, but he has been kind of the preferred target in this Bengals offense, especially lately, is getting a higher percentage of first read targets than both Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. So he kind of looks like the de facto number one receiver. The fact that he's only at 5.5 receptions at a pretty healthy plus price. I do think this is the one that probably is going to pay off the most here on Sunday. So maybe it might be my favorite. I don't know. I think I'm still probably torn. I might go back to the Davis Mills ones as my favorite after lying about that to start the podcast, I guess. But
I do. Well, it is going to be a fun game in Denver, because Denver has been, we talk about weather, and weather does change these things quite a bit, but it's going to be beautiful in Denver. They have no snow, it's sun's out, everything like that, barely any wind. But I do think in the cornerback wide receiver matchup chart that we do have too, even when he's going up against Patrick Surtain, he has a good grade, things coming in. Same with Ronald Darby. So I feel like there isn't really a huge disadvantage to him, and that he should find those good deep receptions, deep balls from Burrow. So I do like that one.
Right. Yeah. He has been the guy in the intermediate routes. I think 80% of his targets have come between 0 and 19 yards. So not like the huge deep threat option in this offense. Obviously that's Jamar Chase. Tyler Boyd's kind of underneath, but I do think, where the Broncos are vulnerable, Higgins is going to be able to take advantage of that. And I think, the plus price is just probably too good of an offering to pass up here. So maybe it is my favorite. I'll go with it as my favorite here. Then he talked me into it. So
I like it. Well, I have a long shot. You want a long shot?
Let's hear some long shots.
I do. So this one, like, when you're looking at it at first, you're like, whatever. Devontae Adams to score once. Okay, sure, whatever. I like Devontae Adams potentially to score twice, and I found that at plus 460. I even found it, I think it was DraftKings maybe at plus 500. Which if you bet it early, that's crazy because over the past 4 weeks they're playing Baltimore, and we know Baltimore is banged up. I mean, you feel bad for him because I think at this point, Ben, Lamar is looking like he's probably not going to play.
Right.
I don't think we've gotten official word yet as we're recording this, but I expect the Packers to get the ball in like scoring position early and often in this game. The Ravens secondary is like nothing compared to their former self. So if there was any time to see Devontae Adams score twice, I feel like it would be this weekend because the Packers just aren't going to be messing around at this point anymore.
Right. I can see it. Plus 460. It's worth. I think it's definitely worth a sprinkle. That's for sure.
Right?
So
there's no reason to not do it.
Right.
But we say that often, and then we say
that often. What have we done? What have we done? So.
But it's fun. It's plus 460. It's to score twice. He's probably going to get in once, so might as well sweat it out the whole rest of the game.
Right.
I don't know.
It depends on if he gets in on that deep shot or not, basically. Because, he's probably going to get a goal line target there at some time. The little flare out option that they like so much. Quick out, basically. From Devontae Adams. So if he scores on the long one as well, it's gonna happen here. So I'm sprinkling it in. I like it quite a bit.
Yes, we the social team, we did a jersey swap with him to the Chargers. We pissed some people off, but it looked good. It looked weird, but it looked good. If you can imagine it. So yeah, go check it out on social. But okay, let's get into your odds boost. I'm super excited for these. These have been like, if they're not hitting, they're super close, and they've just been super fun to get into with you.
Right, definitely. I mean, it is, a couple of really good opportunities here on Caesars. Other books haven't necessarily released any for Sunday, so kind of waiting on that. I think you or I will maybe tweet some out if there is some value heading out here on Sunday morning. But one that I really like, Cardinals to win and AJ Green to score a touchdown, plus 220. I already talked a little bit about liking Kyler Murray from a passing game perspective quite a bit more. I do think AJ Green's gonna need to be that guy that kind of fills in for DeAndre Hopkins. If you're looking at some other sites, they have him at plus 160 anytime touchdown score. I think PFF Greenline has the Cardinals money line from a break-even percentage right around minus 565. So a little bit of an uncorrelated payout of plus 206. You can get this one on Caesars for plus 220. So you're making about 15 cents on that opportunity. So I like that one a little bit. I think my favorite one here, maybe it's a little bit of a hedge on this T. Higgins over 5.5 receptions, but I like Jamar Chase over 99.5 receiving yards and a touchdown. That's plus 600 on Caesars. Our PFF fantasy projections have Chase going over 100 yards on 37% of chances, so right around like a plus 165 price. Anytime touchdown on other sites, plus 120. You're looking at an uncorrelated payout of like plus 485. I do think those two events are pretty heavily correlated, so it should even be a lower price than what it is based on that. But at plus 600, that's way too much value to, I think, ignore. So I think that one's my favorite one here. We just need Jamar Chase to show up for not only the Caesars odds boost, but also my fantasy teams here on Sunday, and I guess we'll see if it happens. So
yes, manifesting. That's what we do here. I love that plus 600. I'm literally locking that in once we get out of here. Wow. So do you think the Broncos are just going to get shredded?
Well, I like a lot of points, right? I do think that.
That's true.
That was the spot we talked 43.5. I think it's up to 44 now. Kind of like we said, I think it's going to be, not necessarily, at least somewhat high scoring. It should go over the total, but I also think we're going to see both teams be able to move the ball pretty productively here. So, Bengals play at a pretty slow pace, at least from a pace of play perspective. But I think they hit enough, explosive plays to still, force Denver kind of out of that shell and make them actually, get into some sort of offensive rhythm. So I like that quite a bit.
They're not going to care. The Mile High City, they do not care. They'll just be having oxygen on the sideline.
Oxygen on the sidelines. Let's roll. Just
That's
roll
awesome.
it up. So.
Well, do you have any other plays that you like before we wrap it up?
I don't think so.
I don't think so
a ton else. I mean,
I
it's,
know. I love what we have though. That's just we're hitting all over the place. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I guess the only other play I would consider, I did write this up in my last minute article, but Bengals money line over 44. You can parlay that together at plus 339 on Caesar. So maybe that's the correct way to play the over in that Bengals Broncos game. I did write that one up on Red. So I guess I'm really heavy on Jaguars Texans and Bengals Broncos here on Sunday. So.
We won't admit.
I guess if you're sicko like us, then you're going to be sweating out those games. So.
We won't admit publicly to the Jaguars and the Houston. It's only this special podcast that people know that we are just so excited to watch that on Sunday. But Ben, as always, thank you so much. Everyone, you can find all this information, wide receiver cornerback matchup chart, all of Ben Brown's articles, all of this good stuff on pff.com/betting. Thank you so much for listening, Ben, as always, and good luck, everyone.